What is going on in Hungary now, and why is that dangerous? Hi, I'm Julia Ivan. Until 2018, I have been the interim director of Amnesty International Hungary. Now I work with Amnesty International Netherlands in our rule of law program, which focuses on two countries, Poland and Hungary. In March, the Hungarian government announced the state of emergency, which was later on prolonged by the government in the so-called corona law. This means that the government has an absolute power with no time limitation to these emergency measures. This is problematic because state of emergency has to have a definite time limit. In Hungary, there is no such thing now. So it is only up to the Hungarian government of Mr. Orbán to decide when the emergency is over. Many governments adopt exceptional measures to fight the COVID-19 outbreak, and we believe that this may be well justified if it's proportionate, if it's legitimate, and if it's necessary to fight the virus. However, in Hungary, we think that the government uses the situation to roll down on human rights and fundamental values. This new law came with several other measures. This means for the people of Hungary that they may not have access to essential information. This may be a very serious limitation on the freedom of expression of journalists or anyone else. The problem is that it is only up to the government to decide what is considered to be fake news or twisted fact when it comes to the coronavirus, which is a very serious and harmful precedent. Now, I will ask David Vig, who's the director of Amnesty International Hungary, about his experience and how his work has been affected by this new corona law. Hi, David. How are you? How are you feeling?
Sometimes I'm feeling really, really depressed, but most of the time it's really energizing and also inspiring that it's a good time to talk about human rights. And there's a lot of attention on what's going on in Hungary.
Anything alarming coming up from Hungary in the last few days?
Oh, a lot of alarming things coming up from Hungary, unfortunately. Many people were paying attention to the so-called power grab of Prime Minister Orbán, which made him possible to rule by decree for an unlimited period. But that was last week. And even during this short period, we have seen a number of measures that were cracking down on marginalized groups' human rights, or in general, limiting human rights and curbing the rule of law in the country.
Anything concrete that you would mention in terms of minorities or marginalized groups?
Yeah, sure. As many leaders in Europe are struggling to stop the COVID pandemic, Hungary's prime minister is trying to stop legal gender recognition for transgender people and trying to make their lives harder. There is no other explanation to this than using this momentum to crack down on already marginalized groups, as this has been on the agenda for quite some time. But it seems that now this is the constitutional moment to suppress oppressed groups even more.
Talking about this corona law, or the enabling act, as it is called in Hungary, what do you think? How does this affect the people of Hungary? Also, how does it affect the work of journalists? And thirdly, but not lastly, of course, how does it affect your work and your life personally?
The so-called Corona Act, it's so funny in Hungarian because Corona actually means crown in Hungarian, and many think that the Corona Act is used basically to put a crown on the head of the prime minister, meaning that he will be able to rule by decree for an unlimited period in time without much scrutiny. Probably this is what he wanted for a long time, and he's using the Corona emergency to basically get what he wanted. It's not necessarily the so-called enabling act. It is very problematic already, but it will be the decrees that will be rolled out as we go forward that pose a huge threat to human rights and the rule of law. Also, already the Enabling Act contains provision that changes the criminal code. It actually threatens journalists, independent critical voices with up to 5 years of imprisonment if they speak about the corona epidemic in a way that is not suitable for the government.
And does this have any impact on your work as well?
I mean, look, we are continuing to do what is needed to protect human rights, marginalized groups, and the rule of law in Hungary. And Amnesty, and also in other countries, has never shied away to speak up on behalf of these constituencies when there was a need. Obviously, there is a threat to independent journalists and also human rights activists throughout the country, but we will continue to speak up and we will continue to protect those in need. So let me give you just one example. The Hungarian Doctors Association notified the public that there is not enough protection gear for them, for doctors and nurses who are fighting the coronavirus in the front line. And just a couple of hours later, the government spokesperson actually said that these are political attacks and the Professional Association of Doctors should not engage in politics because they should be working with people. This is really showing how this government is handling critical voices in the country. But this way of dealing with the crisis is actually spreading in other countries. We have seen attempts also in Poland and Slovenia and other places. And I think this is very, very dangerous for everyone and basically for the whole European project. And we need to be vigilant and following these developments closely to make sure that they're not becoming a reality, neither in Hungary nor in other countries in the EU.
Thank you very much, David, for your time. And take care and good luck and good continuation of your work.
Thank you, and thank you for your support.
Like David already mentioned this, it is only the Hungarian government which can put an end to this state of emergency. This is why we believe that it's very important that the European Union makes it clear that the rule of law cannot be at stake even at times of the coronavirus. We believe that it is up to the EU and also member state governments, so the Dutch government, to be very, very outspoken in defending democratic values and human rights. You can do a lot even from at home. This is why we launched a petition where we asked the Dutch government to make it very clear and take leadership in continuing the Article 7 procedure. This is a procedure where the Hungarian government can be held accountable for violating EU fundamental values. You can find the petition in the link below or on our website.